Thank you for joining us so early. My name is Christopher Chai, and I'll be talking about a product me and my friends were working on the holidays called Fitly. I'm going to start off with a story. When I was in the army, when I first went in, my company sergeant major came out of the office. He had like this upside down smile, and then he came up to us and said, "I don't like study, I like running." I hated running, and it was a terrible experience running about 8 kilometers every single day, and it nearly killed me. But I realized one thing. Because I was running with my friends, it was a lot easier to get through the entire experience, and as a result, we did get a lot fitter, we got a lot healthier, and we had better experience, sort of, because of that. So what is Fitly? Fitly, at its core, is about fitness and friends. The one thing that a lot of us lack in running is motivation, because it's hard to keep yourself motivated unless you're a hardcore runner, you're a marathon runner. And even then, sometimes you want to bring yourself to a healthier level, but it is hard for you to motivate yourself on your own. Which is why there are run clubs, and which is why there are a lot of social running applications out there that allow you to share your run timings and your scores with other people. However, we feel that these apps miss out on the core thing about social running, your friends. So I'm here to answer one simple question: what is Fitly? In a nutshell, our goal is to, 1, provide an app with an intuitive experience for more people to find exercise buddies and to make getting fit more fun. 2nd, to allow people to very easily track their progress towards their goals. And finally, it is also to build a community where people will motivate each other. So built around these 3 goals, we want an online community with a lot of friends, we want to be able to set our goals, and we want to have a well-designed app, a good designed app. So this is what we set out to do over the holidays, and I'm glad to say that we reached our goal. So I'm going to talk about the screens and the features and why is it that we approached designing this app in the way that we did. First off, Fitly depends on you having friends. So we're linking it directly to Facebook. If you don't have any friends, well, this is not really the app for you, is it? So we're going to link it directly to Facebook friends. It's very easy for you to share on Facebook, and because of the way that the Open Graph API works, it's very easy to link up your own app to what Facebook offers. The first thing that a user sees when he hops in is this summary page, a sort of feed of all the events that are happening and all their friends who are running. So as you can see, that's a picture of me in case you can't tell. My hair was a bit longer back then. I have created a couple of events on June 12th. And here I have a couple of people running with me. I want to run a certain distance and I want to run at a certain time. These are what we found are the important pieces of information that we need to share with our friends in order to organize runs. Next up, we have our profiles. This is profile one of my team members, Eugene, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. So as you can see, we want to put in a sense of gamification and a sense of setting goals. Thank you, Mac. We're back. So we want to combine social features as well as the ability to schedule and organize runs with your friends. This is a sample screen of how you create a run. We were trying to keep it simple, keeping the most important information, distance, time, when you want to run, and where you want to run. This is an example of the screen where you would join a run, which I will demonstrate in a little while. Of course, like I said, friends are the most important thing, so being able to see your friends is, of course, one of the key features of this app. And on top of that, there is a competitive nature to this app wherein we kind of keep score of how your friends are performing on the leaderboard. This scoring system is based on distance and the number of times that you've run, number of people that you've included in your runs. Fitly is not just an app, it is an entire ecosystem that we want to build. Because it is social, there's of course the social network services component of it, where we want to share on Twitter, on Facebook. And also because of the scheduling, we were going to include Google. However, we didn't figure out the Google Calendar things in time, but that's definitely in the plans. In the back end, we have a server that contains all the information that each of these runs store. So what our aim is to build an API where we can incorporate other features like or other applications like run-ins and all the other social running apps, and try and bring in this community from all these different disparate running applications. I've been talking about myself, but let me do a quick run through of the team, and then I'll give you the demonstration of what the application can do. I'm Christopher. I'm the developer as well as the leader, apparently. I did not sign up for the job. But I've had some experience developing apps. I'm working at a startup right now with some of the guys who developed Summon Auntie, if you guys know that app, and try to evade the summons. Eugene was the designer. He was the one who put out all those beautiful screens that you saw just now, and ultimately the application that you will see. He has a lot of experience in web design and mobile UI. Path, who's sitting over here in his nice little sandals, is doing his final year, and he's also got a lot of experience in web platform management and designing systems, which I think is very key in creating an API and creating something that other people can use as well. And finally, we have Davis, who is at the Metric Fair right now, so he couldn't spare time, sorry. And he's basically our mother hen and keeps us alive while we go through the night and stuff. So like I was talking about just now, there are a lot of running apps out there. Why is it that Fitly is different? In our research of all the running apps, they call themselves social. However, they are still focusing on running as a very individual activity. They focus on recording how far you've run, where you've run, how many points you've earned in Nike Plus, how much distance you've traveled, whether or not you're good, and you put it on a leaderboard, and you can share with your friends on Facebook. But none of them really give you a way to organize these runs with your friends. And one of the problems that we face is that we can't get enough friends together to run with us all the time. We are university students who are very busy. It's very hard to find a common time and a common place for us to run, except in US. But running up the hill is a bit painful for me. So what we aim to do here is provide this scheduling feature which you saw just now in the event creation, and make it easy for people to see where and when they can run with their friends. Words about what I just said. Yes, so we actually do have a sort of go-to-market strategy that we were thinking about. And there are three main things. What are we selling, how are we selling, and who are we selling it to? The best way, what we are selling is the best way to keep fit with your friends, with a very, very focused emphasis on with friends. Second, who are we selling to? We are selling to people who are not necessarily hardcore runners, but people who are actually looking for friends to run with. And finally, we actually do want to make this accessible to everyone. So we want to develop the app on more than just a single platform, iOS, even though I love that platform. And yeah, we want to give it to everyone in NUS and possibly even in Singapore later on. So this is the part where it gets exciting, sort of. Ooh, AirPlay, why aren't you working? Give me a moment while I bring this up on the screen. Oh, technology. Oh, I love you. Ah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep it aside because that's working right now. Fitly, in a nutshell. As with all apps, it will log you in through Facebook. Because I have an account, it logs me in automatically already because I've been there before. Of course, if I have 3G, it will work. Does anyone have a feeling of a Windows presentation right now? I do.
While waiting, I actually vaguely remember hearing about exercising social apps similar to yours over the radio.
Radio?
Yeah.
Oh, that definitely wasn't us.
Or somewhere, I can't really remember. But do you know who your competitors are?
We've not. The closest competitor I've seen, right, is this Milo branded app, where they organize like football matches and these kind of social games and things like that. But I think we're actually focused specifically on running and as an activity to build fitness with friends. I don't think I've heard of the app that you are talking about, but I will definitely check it out.
Have you guys been featured on any?
No.
Vaguely, I really vaguely remember about maybe I dreamt of it, so premonition. No,
It's good. Yes, you did. You dreamt about us. It's a sign. Okay, so if the images load up from Facebook. But anyway, here's the activity page that I was talking about. All the different runs that are.
What are those numbers there in yellow and blue?
Okay, so one of the key things is that we wanted to show how many people are running on a day and at what time. Yellow represents the daytime and blue represents the night. So if you're a night runner like I am, I will be more interested in looking at the days where there are more people running at night. So in this case, Monday has a couple of people running at night, and from this screen I can quickly see that someone's running in the South Atlantic Ocean. That's absolutely believable. Or at Bukit Batu, East Avenue 2, which is my place.
So you can actually click on the buttons?
Oh yes. If it loads it up. Oh, I just realized. Hold on. Can't see the tab bar from here because it's being pushed down by the bar. Oh yeah, region. Yes, are there any questions that I could answer while we wait on
launched?
No, we have not launched in the App Store. I require a developer's account on that. However, it is almost fully functional, so we are planning to launch it soon.
So you said you have it developed for iOS, Android, and WP7?
No, right now we're on iOS exclusively because that's my forte, that's the area that I'm comfortable with. So we want to test the market with iOS. The market in Singapore for iOS phones is nearly 70%, 75%, so that's what we want to do.
What's the minimum iOS version required?
Minimum iOS, I actually can run this on an iOS 3.2. It's just that some of the geolocation features will not be working. This uses reverse geolocation to put in the addresses and pull out the map of the area. Oh dear God.
Okay, maybe you can just continue first and
Alright.
come back to this.
Sure.
So is the application able to track the places that you have job run to or whatever?
Currently, no, because we want to keep this simple and scheduling app right now.
So it's more of a like finding friends to run with you.
Yes.
That's all you do. Okay.
Yes, and we do not actually want to compete with Run-ins and Nike Plus. What we want to do is
Right.
build around their ecosystem that they've built. And they perform tracking really well. So we do not want to fight with them
Right.
in that arena.
Right. So in this case, how do you track? How do you know how many kilometers you have run in your application?
Okay, I would have demonstrated that. But the basic idea is that
Right.
when we create a run,
Right.
we will invite friends, and friends will join our runs.
Correct.
And then the gamification feature is where we verify each other.
Okay.
So when we invite a run, we will start the run.
Okay.
And as the run starts, we can actually say who has joined the run. Like each of us will say that, oh, I'm here,
Right.
and I'm here.
Okay.
And based on that, everyone will be awarded points for joining this run and completing the run
Mm-hmm.
as a group. Yes.
But how do you input how many kilometers you have run for this particular session?
Okay, so for the session, it's a set number at the creation of the event.
Okay.
As I'll show you.
Okay.
The screen.
That means at the time of creation, you say that, oh, you want to run 5 kilometers.
Yes.
So you just
So if we end up running longer, we don't get a chance to correct that.
You can edit the events
Okay.
as it is right now. So this is an example of the run that you're joining, the place and the kilometers that you will be running. So
Okay.
that's how we intend to keep it. We were thinking of different ways of doing the tracking, but ultimately it was way too complicated to give a good user experience. So there's definitely a possibility of gaming the system, but if that's a problem, it's actually a good problem in the end.
Can you demo on your iOS simulator on the laptop?
Yes, but I believe that it is a connection problem. Oh dear, I might have something secretive that I cannot share with you. Okay, then.
Really?
Yeah,
You must be dreaming.
It was a premonition. It was a good dream, wasn't it? Oh, it's mirrored. Yeah, it's definitely the connection. Still a problem.
Are you not able to connect to the Wi-Fi?
I'm on the 3G because I wanted to AirPlay to the phone.
Right. Okay.
And I just got this computer, so I'm not signed into any as secure.
Okay.
So that would be terrible. I am so sorry. So, yes. Do quick troubleshooting. If there are any other questions.
Do you have any more slides to go?
A
Maybe you
couple
want to go
more
through the
slides.
slides first?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have more questions, but I'd like to see the rest of the demonstration first. Otherwise, you're just going to be answering questions that
Yeah, we will eventually. Understood. Okay, so moving on. Just quickly start. Try and get on the Wi-Fi. So what we plan for the future. Because now we have a functional app enough for us to do an alpha test at least, we want to break it out and we want to ask users what are the features that they want to see in it. So one of the main things is that we want to expand to more than running eventually, but for the sake of keeping a simple app that people will understand how to use, we are focused on running right now. Like I mentioned before, we want to integrate with Nike Plus and Runkeeper. They provide APIs for the use of their data, their tracking data, and for that we want to put it into Fitly, and this would solve the problem of actually tracking how far people run during sessions. Finally, as I mentioned very early on also, we want to integrate with the scheduling services because that is one of the key features that Fitly depends on. So actually that does bring me to the end of our presentation. Oh, hey, it's running. Magic fingers, path. Magic fingers. And because it is not connected. We're connected in, yes. Alright. Okay,
What do you put it on the visualizer?
Do we want?
yes, that works.
No need. Do we want to use this
Oh, yeah,
one?
sure.
The right screen? Microphone to-
Okay.
Okay, how do you switch?
Ah, okay. So, hey, pictures. So this is the actual representation of what the feed would look like, and not what I showed you just now. Each of these events are sorted into days, and as I pointed out, morning is indicated by the yellow symbol, and night events are indicated by the night symbol. Within each of these activities, we have this screen, which is where we start and join. The name of the person who started, in this case myself, is at the top, and the number of people who are going are listed there. So one of the things about this is also we want to be able to see what our friends' profiles are, or how far they've run and things like that, and that's accessible through this interface.
So what will happen if you click on Start Run?
Okay, so
Does
when
that
we
mean
start the
begin the
run,
run?
sorry?
Does that mean to begin the run or to start a new session?
It is to, okay, start run in this,
The cable's
Yeah, I think the cable is
Yeah.
loose.
okay, let's keep it stable. Start run in this case would begin this run, and whoever's in the event will basically be locked into the event,
Okay.
and they will verify whether or not they are running. So right now it is starting.
Does it keep a timer as well?
No, it doesn't keep a timer.
So no tracking at all?
No tracking at all. Like we said, we want to keep the tracking outside of this
Yeah.
application. So still the internet's a little bit slow, but ultimately when you run, you can...
Just one comment, because you have a picture of a Google Maps there.
Yep.
So when I look at it, when I look at the button, I would think that, oh, if I click on that, you must have
You mean like this?
going to record my coordinates. But
Yeah. I think because you don't have any tracking at all, there's no need for start end. It's just done, you know.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That is actually very true.
It doesn't make sense, right? Because I'm just going to start and end exactly at the same time.
That is a good point. That is a very good point. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to another screen. So the usual filters is to sort between how many of your friends, what events are coming over in the week, and also to sort to your own events that you've already signed up to participate in.
So can you go back and see the past runs that you have actually joined previously?
That hasn't been implemented yet,
Okay,
but
okay.
I do intend to put it under the profile.
Right.
Okay.
Because this is a running application, to me, I think the ability to track the path that you have taken for that particular run, I think that's very important. Even at least showing me the path that I have actually taken during that particular run, I think that's important. If not, just by looking at this application, to me, it's just an event scheduler.
Yes.
Finding your friends to participate in an event. I could jolly well call this a meet for lunch application.
That is true.
So to me, when I look at it, the title of the application, the first thing comes to my mind is that, oh, your application must have the ability to record coordinates, the latitude, longitude, how fast you run, and give me that sort of information. So that's my comment.
But I can see history, right? The runs.
Yes, you can see
that
that.
I've done. Okay.
Cool.
So in the leaderboards, it will be updated according to your friends who have this application
Yes.
and are participating in the runs, the events that are created in this application, right?
The leaderboards are filtered according to all your friends who are using the application, not necessarily whether you run with them before or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you able to find random runners or only friends from your Facebook page?
No, only friends from your Facebook page. So we want to keep this, because usually when you want to run, you want to run with people that you know to motivate each other and possibly build relationships with. So we're not a dating app, we are a scheduling running app.
So you're running low on time, so it's just focusing on the leaderboard and gamification features. I think that's what's really unique.
Okay.
What you have.
Which is also one of the features that we haven't fully implemented yet. We focused on developing the scheduling function throughout this holiday, so definitely the gamification is something that we are still developing at this moment.
I thought in one of the screens I saw badges at the bottom already. Is that what you-
Placeholders, actually, but the idea is to reward people according to how many runs and how far they've completed.
Okay, but that's the idea. It hasn't been implemented yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good lord.
So I think as just a scheduling app alone, it looks pretty good. But you know, like Wei-Ming said, it's really just a scheduling app. Now, if you had the gamification features, that would be a lot more interesting. I personally don't care if it can track or not. I'm a runner. I probably wouldn't use your app because I run alone. I ran 18 km yesterday. You know, there are not many people who can join me or will. But I think what I definitely like to see is be able to track the history of my runs, how far I've run, the time I've run, and things like distance, as well as whether or not I keep to my schedule. Right. For example, you know, I do it 3 times a week, right? So if I can't do it 3 times a week, I need to know that I'm slacking off because I can't. So those are the things that, you know, I don't need I hate carrying the phone along with me when I run.
Yeah.
And at the very most, I have a small watch. So these are the things I'm happy to key in separately or load from my Nike Plus or something like that. So I don't need the tracking features, but I do need to be able to see the history. otherwise, like I said, unfortunately, I'm not a social runner, so I don't see the use for any of the other features. But I think for many people, it's still good to have, especially if you're starting up and you need some company.
Yeah. The motivation factor from your friends is the one thing we're focusing on.
Yeah, that and I suppose motivation. Yeah, I mean it depends. For me, the motivation is being able to keep the fitness schedule, or telling myself I'm going to do it. But yes, of course, having your friends, even if they don't run with you, to be able to see that you've been keeping fit and running, that's quite important for many people.
So if I jog alone or run alone, do I still need someone to verify that I?
No. Ultimately, you can verify yourself if you're a single participant in the run. However, that's not really our target group.
Okay. Because from the leaderboard, I can see how it might spark some
Competitiveness. Yes.
Which is quite cool.
It's a different direction, but I think what I'd like to see in the social running app is actually route sharing. I actually happen to run in the same areas that you do. I don't live very far away from you, but one difficulty is finding routes.
True.
Yeah.
That do not include Hume Avenue and over.
No, actually, I go along I go to the nature reserves.
Okay, so spinning wheel. Pretty.
When do you intend to publish this?
I think we want to go through an alpha and beta stage over the next couple of months, especially when school starts, because that's when we want to get the word out to our friends. So probably a soft launch in mid-August, and then after that, full marketing thing towards the end of the year.
So you have a marketing plan as well for this?
Roughly.
Okay.
Roughly. I'm gonna pull out the plug now so we don't see the spinning wheel. Yes. Technical.
Well, I mean, it looks really nice. I mean, I think I could see this being very popular. So.
Yeah.
I think the UI is nice. It's really nice. Just
Mm-hmm.
add some more features and then there'll be good application.
Yeah, well, I think, and the idea of adding more sports and stuff is really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing that I think is coming. One thing that we're really looking at is, obviously, if we're going to be just a running app, like you said, we're not going to be competing on tracking or for the hardcore runners. So what we felt from the start was to create like micro communities centered around your different sports.
Yeah.
So we started out with running because it's the quintessential fitness activity, and it's easy to do and easy to introduce new users to. It's like, okay, you're going for a jog, let's get a friend, get two friends, and go for it. But obviously, after doing the alpha and beta testing, once we really solidify the whole running aspect, we'll definitely easily be able to implement things like cycling, gymming, which is important to me especially, and other small scale sports like badminton or even 3-on-3, 5-on-5 basketball. We don't want to go for a full soccer match or something like that, because that kind of defeats the purpose of our app, which is just helping you keep a schedule, keep connected with your friends, and not only all your Facebook friends, because for different sports activities, you'll have different micro communities. Like my running buddies are obviously not the ones that will necessarily be my basketball buddies or my gymming buddies. So in one app, you can keep track of your whole fitness lifestyle. That is what our aim is. So we started out with running, and that's why the emphasis is on that. But yeah, once we have this down pat, including the achievements, the leaderboard, we'll definitely expand it to other sports.
So I think the overall idea of building a community is great, but we are sitting here judging what's been done, not what.
That's true. That's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
So in that situation, I think the comments are mostly towards running, something which I personally do, so I know a bit about. But at the same time, also perhaps if the overall idea was to go on to a more social and more sports kind of thing, you might have started with something that actually requires more than one person. So it's easier to convey that idea that if you're going to have a basketball game, you need at least 6 people, right? For example. Nonetheless, I think all the comments you've heard so far, we see it has potential. It's just how useful it is now is something that it's a bit hard for us to tell.
Yeah, actually, this is, as you say, it's pre-alpha, so there's still a lot of kinks to iron out. lot of additional sub features to that, and obviously these big features are coming up in the next few months. So yeah. Thanks for your time. Thank you for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for all the feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, guys.